Hi everyone, Tammy here. I'm going to show you how to make this cute little mini Pop-Tart, and I'm going to be using a size 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and of course you can use whatever size you choose. It's just going to make your Pop-Tart smaller or bigger. So if you use a smaller crochet hook, it'll just make your little Pop-Tart smaller, and if you use bigger, it'll just be a bigger one. And of course you're going to need some yarn. The yarn I'm using for this is I Love This Yarn from Hobby Lobby, and it is called Blossomopolis, which is really cool. Then you don't have to put like the little sprinkles in there. I like how it turned out. It's just an acrylic yarn. Same with this one. This one is called Cafe au Lait, and it's from Hobby Lobby as well. It's Yarn Bee, and it's just a nice little brown. And then you'll need some stuffing, of course, just a little bit of stuffing to stuff your little Pop-Tart. And you'll need some eyes. And to be honest, I don't remember what size these eyes are. I had them laying around, so I just used them. And then I found another little set of eyes that are smaller, so I'm going to use these ones. These are probably like a 7 millimeter, I think, in eyes. So really it doesn't matter. Whatever eyes you have laying around will work. And then just a little bit of black yarn to make a little mouth. And then of course a yarn needle and scissors. So let's begin. So you're going to take your crochet hook and your yarn that you're using, and you want to start with a slip knot. So however you like to make your slip knot, this is how I do mine. My working yarn and my tail yarn are right next to each other. I go to the top of that and I turn that loop, and then I grab that working yarn and pull it through that loop to create a slip knot. Then I insert my crochet hook, pull that working yarn so my loop is not that big. And then I like to chain a total of 11. So 1, whoops, let's start that over. I'm going to do my slip knot different. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And now what we want to do is work a single crochet into the second chain from our hook. So remember, the loop on your hook does not count as a stitch or a chain. This is your first chain, this is your second chain. So insert your hook into that second chain underneath the loop and create a single crochet. So yarn over, bring that yarn through and up. You have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through both of those loops. And that is your first single crochet. And then you want to work a single crochet into each of those chains all the way to the end. So you should have a total of 10 single crochets. So we're just working a single crochet into each chain. Let me zoom in so you can see a little close-up for those that are beginners, and sometimes it helps to see it a little closer up. So I'm just working a single crochet into the foundation chain. This is a real simple pattern. It's just single crochets. So now what I like to do is work my tail over my crochet stitches. Some people are not comfortable doing that, and that's fine. If you're not comfortable doing that, then you can just weave in your tail later on. So if you want to work over it, you can just bring up that loop on your hook and take your hook out, and then just insert your crochet hook underneath these 2 loops like this, and then grab that tail and pull that tail through those 2 loops all the way through. and now it's on the next row, and you can work over that. You also could have pulled it through when you completed your single crochet, but I didn't want to confuse anyone, so I just did it that way. But again, if you're not comfortable working over your tail end, you can just leave it to weave in your ends. So there's our first row of single crochets. Now you're going to turn your work, and you're going to chain one. That chain one is not going to count as a stitch. And now we're going to work a single crochet into each of those stitches all the way to the end. So insert your hook into that first stitch, and you're going to be working underneath 2 loops, because now we're working into the row that we just worked. The foundation row, we just worked under 1 loop, but now we're going to be working underneath 2 loops, and we're working our single crochet. And you'll notice as I work my single crochet, I'm also working over that tail end. And you should have a total of 10 single crochets when you're done with this row. So I'm just working a single crochet. All the way to the end. Pulling my little tail just so I know it's nice and snug, it's not super loose. Working my single crochets. And if you're not sure if this is a stitch or not, all you have to do is look at your work, and you'll see this here little vertical bar that lets you know that that's the end of the row, and off to the right you can see your 2 little V's that make up that stitch, so you know you still have a stitch to work. So go ahead and insert your hook there and work around that tail your single crochet. And I like to bring that tail up again to work it one more time. So this is where you can do it at the same time when you complete your single crochet. So all you do is grab your yarn, your working yarn, and the tail. You see both of them are there, and you just pull it through, and then just pull it all the way up, and there's my tail, and now it's on the next row. And then I'm going to turn my work. We're going to chain 1 again. Remember that chain 1 is just our turning chain, so it does not count as a stitch. We're going to insert our hook into that first stitch and work a single crochet. And I'm working over my tail again. And that's just saving me time from having to weave in. But you do not have to do that if you're uncomfortable working over your tail. So we're just working a single crochet. So you're going to continue to do this, just working a single crochet row until you have a total of 16 rows. And what I like to do, which is nice and easy to count, is when you're looking at it, when you look at one side, you can see that this here is like a nice perfect little 2-row line compared to the other one. You can see that this is like a row here, and then up here comes another row. I like to count this as 2 rows, and then you can see this is the start of another row. So if you see 8 of those, then you know that you've done a total of 16. Let me show you an example of my brown that I've done. So this is what I'm talking about here. So if you're looking at your work and you see the 2 different sides, so here you can see that these make nice little rows, and them are 2 rows, but then you have an additional one here that's not actually a completed 2-rower. Same here, but if you turn it over and you look here, you can see, oh, this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. So this is a total of 16 rows. So it's 8 of these nice little rows. So that's just a little trick to help you, but whatever is comfortable for you to get your 16 rows, that's what you're going to do. So go ahead and continue to work your single crochets across and make sure you have 10, and then when you're done working your 16 rows, go ahead and fasten off at the end of that last row, and I'll see you guys back at the end of my 16th row. Okay, I have finished my 16 rows. So after I did my last stitch, I'm just going to go ahead and take enough of that tail to fasten it off. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pull that all the way through. And then you can either, later on we can work over this tail, or you can weave it in on the back there. So the right side of our work is going to be this nice side that shows the 8 nice little sections of 2 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is going to be our right side. So this is where we want to put our face at. So what we're going to do now is put our little face. So I have my little eyes. So whatever eyes you decided to use, you can go ahead and grab those now. And I like to put mine on, let's see where I did it on this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I kind of put mine like right here. So really it's wherever you prefer to put your little eyes. So I think I'm going to put mine like right here. Before I put my back on the eye, I like to just kind of place the eyes to see if I like the position of the eye. Now remember, we're going to have brown around the edge, so you just kind of want to make sure you remember that. So then I'm going to look and kind of go, see, I'm kind of over, so I'm going to go right about here. Make a little twist in there, poke my eye, see if I like my eye like that. I think it looks cute like that. And then I'm going to put my little mouth right here in the center. So I want to make sure I have enough space there, which I do. So I'm happy with my eye placement there. So I'm going to go ahead and take my little eye backs and turn this around and just place it on top and push that in until I hear a nice little click. And then I'm going to do that with the other one. And it's pretty windy out, but there's a little trick I like to do with the lighter to melt the tips of the backing so they're a little flatter. So you can do that if you want. You don't have to. It's just something I like to do. So let me see if I can show you. It's kind of hard to do it on camera, but so just kind of hold it down, but see how they're so pointed and stuff. So I just take my lighter and I just burn the tip here until it gets nice and hot. And then I just take the side of the lighter and I push down like that, and it just flattens it, which is nice. And then I'm going to go do it to the other side here. Looks like I'm going to push just a little tiny bit more. There we go. And this isn't necessary to do, it's just something I like to do. So I'm just going to burn that a little. And you just got to be careful because you don't want to burn your project. And then I just push it down to the side. And it just flattens it. So it's just something I like to do. And then I'm going to turn it back over. My little eyes, and I have my little piece of black yarn cut, just a little tiny piece, and I'm going to thread that with my needle. And then I'm going to take zoom out a little. Don't want it to lose focus. So I want to go here and here. So I'm just gonna take my needle, insert it right there, and I want it to go all the way through. In the back there, and I'm gonna have it come out this way. I just see where it comes through, and I'm gonna tie a little knot next to that little area that I'm gonna be going through. And there's probably better ways. I'm not the best at doing amigurumi stuff, so I'm just gonna tie a little knot. Right there. And I'm just gonna cut that extra little piece as close as I can there. And then I'm gonna go right back to where I came out of, which I think was like right here. So I'm just gonna go right there and go to the front. That looks about right. So I'm gonna bring that through. And then I'm gonna go over here to about right there and bring that through. And then I want to go down to make my little smiley face. So I'm gonna go kind of like in the center. So I'm thinking like right about here. I didn't pull all the way through yet to the top there because I want to go in the center. Make sure I'm on camera still. There we go. So now I'm pulling this up, and as I pull up, I don't want to pull it too tight. I'm going to go up underneath my loop up here and pull that through. So now it's connected, and then I'm going to go back into that same hole, try to go back in that same hole I just came out of. And pull it through, and now I'm going to pull it a little snugger, and then that way I have that little smiley face for my little amigurumi little mini Pop-Tart, and that's my smiley face. So now I'm going to go on the back there and just tie it into a knot next to another stitch there. And we won't be able to see this because we'll be attaching the brown part and stuffing it and stuff, so nobody will notice it. And then I'm just tying it in a knot. I have to make 4 of these for my grandchildren because they saw the one. So I'm going to be doing quite a few, but they actually are pretty quick to make. Okay, and I'm just going to snip that off. And then there's our little face for our mini Pop-Tart. So cute. Okay, and now all you have to do is with your brown, you're going to do the same exact thing that you did with this colorful one. You're going to chain chain 11, and then single crochet into that second chain from your hook all the way across, and you're going to do a total of 16 rows. Do not fasten it off, and I will see you guys back after you complete your 16 rows with your brown yarn. Okay, so I have finished my second part of the little Pop-Tart, and I have my 16 rows. And now what we're going to do, and I did not fasten off, but I did weave in my other end, and I did weave in this end as well, so this one's all set. We're going to take our wrong sides of our Pop-Tart, and we want to make sure that they're placed together. So remember, the wrong side is the one that doesn't have the nice little rows that are combined together to look like the little 8. So the 2 sections of rows that look like 8 rows. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So this is our right side. So we're going to put that right side out. So that wrong side is sitting on top of our wrong side of our front, like this. Okay. And now what we want to do is, if you're looking at, let me zoom in, your right side of your little Pop-Tart, you're going to insert your crochet hook right here into that first stitch at the top of your Pop-Tart, and then you're going to grab that loop of the back color. Whoops, it's a little windy here. I'm outside enjoying the sunshine and stuff. And you're just going to pull that loop through that first stitch like that. And then just go ahead and pull that working yarn from the brown so it's not so loose, so big. So now we just connected them. And now what we want to do is chain one, and we're going to single crochet into that front Pop-Tart and the brown one in the back. So we're going through both pieces, and we're going to work a single crochet. So one single crochet there. And now we're going to single crochet into each of these stitches all the way until we get to that last stitch. And we're going through both pieces. So this one and the one right behind. So that's two. This is our third one. We're going through both. This is our fourth. So we're going through the front piece and the back piece. This is five, the front piece and the back piece. Make sure you're going through both loops, underneath both loops, like so. And then this is number 6, so underneath both pieces. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, so back to our single crocheting. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is number 7. Remember, go through both pieces. This is number 8. This is number 9. And this is our last one, number 10. So since it's the last one and it's at the corner, we want to do a total of 3 single crochets because it's our corner and we're turning. So we're going to do 3 in here. So this is 1. And then you're going to insert your hook in the same stitch and do 2 more. So this is 2. And then this is number 3. And now we're going to work along the side of him, our little Pop-Tart. And what we're going to do is we're going to try, and we want to try and stay as consistent as possible. So when you're looking at the sides, you'll see, like right here's a good spot to put a single crochet. Then right here's one. It's just kind of like in the row there. Then right here, 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 here is all consistent. So we're going to do our single crochets in those spots. And we're going to try doing them in the same spot on the other side. So you may have to look at the back when you're going to insert that hook. So our first one is going to be right here. So we're just going to insert your hook right there, push it through, and I see it's coming out the same spot. That's where I want it to. And we're going to work our single crochet. And now we're going to do it right there, pushing it through, and it's going to come out. And we're going to work our single crochet. And then our next one, right here, push it through, and it should come out perfectly on the other side. And then right here is our next one. We're working our single crochet. And there's our next one. There's our next one. And we're just doing this all the way down to the bottom. And then right here's our next one. And there's our next. And what's nice by doing this consistently, when we do the other side, it'll be just as this side, because we did it consistent by doing it at the end here and then in the line row. And then here's that little line row. Okay, and then we want to make sure and do it right there. And now we're going to be at the foundation chain at the bottom. So we should have a total of 10 down there. And this is what our cute little guy is looking like. So in that first one we want to do 3 because we want to do our corner. So we're turning and we want to have that little curve. And sometimes it's hard to see the foundation chains. Just go ahead and insert your hook into that next stitch and get the one in the back there as well, and do your 3 single crochets there. So 1, this is 2, and this is 3. And now we're going to work 8 single crochets, and that'll give us 1 stitch left to do our next corner. So let's work 8 single crochets through both thicknesses. So 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 7, and number 8. So now we have our corner one, which is right there. So insert your hook there and through the other one. And this is our corner. So we're going to do our 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. And just like we did before, we want to work consistently on the ends. So we're going right here in the middle there, in that line there, line there, line. But now we want to go ahead and start stuffing a little bit. And as my one granddaughter told me, don't overstuff because they shouldn't be that big, Grandma. That's what she told me. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my first crochet, single crochet there through both thicknesses. And then the next line. And then the next one. And then this next one. up that loop real quick because I'm going to go ahead and stuff him a little bit. I got some stuffing here. It's just whatever your preference is on how much you want to stuff him. I'm going to try not to overstuff. And he's actually smaller than the one I showed you in the beginning. And that's because I used a different crochet hook. And I'll show you them compared to each other. That way you can see the difference. So you can either make them smaller or bigger. The crochet hook does matter, the size. And you can also change the stitches, which is nice too, if you wanted to make it bigger or smaller. Okay, so I think he's going to be good just like that. I don't think I overstuffed him. So I'm going to continue to sew him up, or crochet him up, I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and reinsert my hook into that loop. And pull that back down. Okay. Now I'm going to go right here through both thicknesses. And then right here. And then here. And we're almost to the end. So see, it really doesn't take that long. And if you don't have like the little eyes, safety eyes, you can always embroider your eyes with some black yarn, or you could crochet some little eyes. Or you could just make a Pop-Tart without eyes. That would be just as cute. Okay, getting towards the end. So this will just give me 2 more I have to definitely make. So that's not too bad. Okay, so we got this stitch, and then that brings us to the corner there where we just put 1 in there, but we want to make sure that turns into a corner, so we have to put 2 more single crochets into that same stitch that we started in. So go ahead and insert your hook into that same stitch and work your 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2, and then you can join with a slip stitch to that first one and fasten it off and weave in your ends and you're done. Or else you can do an invisible join, which I can show you how to do that. So what you do is you put your hook down, you grab your scissors, and then you go ahead and snip your yarn to your crochet hook and pull that all the way through like that. And then take your yarn needle and thread it like that. And then you take your little guy and you can just insert your hook into the next stitch, your needle, I'm sorry, from the front to the back underneath both loops and pull it through. And then you're just going to insert your needle into the stitch. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. That the needle, that the thread's coming out of, underneath the back loop only. Insert your needle there. And then it looks like a stitch. So it's like an invisible joint. And then of course you would weave in your tail. And that is it. And I won't do that on camera because that's boring. But there you go. Your cute little mini Pop-Tart. And there it is compared to my other one. So there you go. This is with a 3.5. This is with a 4.0. And just remember, you can use any hook size, and thanks for watching.